people, and welcome to Team Amasian Show Speak Nerdy to Me for almost the last week of May here. My name is Ann Campion. I'm one half of Team Amasian. Joining me to my right is Kaori Takei.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
And we are here to talk about all the geeky stuff that we love this week. But actually, there is one topic in particular we wanted to focus this week's episode on, and that is X-Men Apocalypse, which is out in theaters this weekend. Obviously, you could see our T-Fury shirts. Thank you, T-Fury, for these awesome shirts that we are wearing. So we are here to actually review this film. Corey and I have finally had a chance to see it. So we actually don't even know what each other thinks of the film yet. So we are going to talk about our overall thoughts on it, positives, negatives, and leave it off with open to you guys to let us know what you thought of X-Men Apocalypse. So with that being said, Corey, I'm so excited to hear what you think of the film. Let's go with just overall, really quick impressions on the film.
Overall, I enjoyed it. I knew I would because I always enjoy X-Men movies, even the shittiest of shittiest X-Men movies. I have a solid time in there. I think it's entertaining. It's one of those movies where you don't really have to think. Everything's just kind of like, oh, this is a plot point. This is a plot point. Okay. It's not like, wait a second, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to follow. I enjoy the action. I enjoy the simple story. And of course, you enjoy watching the X-Men put together. It's been a long 2 years waiting for this movie, and I enjoyed it. It's one of those movies where if one of my friends was like, do you want to go see X-Men? I would see it again.
Yeah.
I totally would. It was like a roller coaster. It was fun for me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, me. I also enjoyed the film. I did. I think it definitely has some weaknesses to it, but I think it stands well with a lot of the other films that Bryan Singer has put out for us with the X-Men series. It's definitely not my favorite of the X-Men films, but I think, like I said, it holds well against them. I love Magneto. I love any chance you get to see Michael Fassbender as well as James McAvoy in their roles as Magneto and Professor X.
Best.
I can watch hours, days worth of film of just them too.
And Sebastian Stan.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Different universe, but I mean, he's off fighting it at an airport or something. No, actually, he's now buried in Black Panther's home. Sorry. He's frozen now. But going back to the X-Men, yes, I definitely agree with you. I think it's a good departure for speaking of Sebastian Stan and Civil War. The X-Men is a good departure from something like that type of movie where it's a little more story heavy. You know, you kind of really do have to pay attention to what's going on and the setup, whereas X-Men films are really just meant to be fun. They throw all these characters at you. They throw awesome Quicksilver scenes at you, and just all the characters that you love from this franchise you get in this film.
Yeah, and another thing, like touching base on what you've just said, is that when it comes to Avengers movies, Captain America and all those movies, you really, to have like the full experience, you really do need to watch the other movies to kind of get them together, like have the standalones like Thor or Iron Man or whatever. But with X-Men movies, you can just go in and they introduce everything to you. Like if you don't know, they'll throw it at you. And of course you'll benefit more knowing more, but it's just really just a simply fun movie.
Yeah. So positives then.
I have a lot. I think you touched base on one of them, the Quicksilver scene.
Yes.
That was amazing.
They knew they killed it the last X-Men movie with that Quicksilver scene, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this one, but do it 10 times better.
And it was
great.
It was humorous. The best part was the dog with the pizza.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think that was a huge positive. I wrote a lot, so I feel like we should share.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so for me, number one, going a little deeper into seeing McAvoy and Fassbender on cameras, that scene when Magneto, well, obviously, we find Magneto in a spot where he's trying to not be Magneto anymore.
Yeah,
which is kind of nice, right? Like, after everything that happened, he wanted to just have a life, have a family, and try to be normal. The predicament we find him in, and obviously this is all spoilers, you guys, but the predicament we find him in is that he saves somebody at his place of employment, and people see, obviously, that he has superhuman abilities, and they automatically pick it up that this is the same guy that was, has those powers. So anyways, it brings us to the scene, which is my favorite scene of the film, where Magneto, Eric is being taken away by the police, and they know not to bring metal because they know what his ability is. And you see the scene where his wife and his daughter die. And that to me was such a powerful, such an impactful scene. I think not only in any superhero movie, but just in any film that I've ever seen. That's one of my favorite scenes ever, just in a movie.
Wow.
I thought they did it so well. I thought Michael Fassbender obviously is a fantastic actor, but the fact that he that scene, it just thinking about it, like, really gets to me. Like, the way he acted in that scene was just, like,
Did you cry?
Heartbreaking for me. Yeah.
I always ask him, did you cry?
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was really a tough one, because you're seeing Eric and he's trying to live a life, and he was only trying to do good, and here we are. It sets him up perfectly, though, for the Magneto that we see in the film.
I know, but why does he always, like, he's safe with Charles Xavier. He always goes back to Charles Xavier, and then he's like, I really can't make you stay, my friend. Like, that was like, how many times are you gonna say that, huh?
He's like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, I'll see you later. I'm gonna betray you guys again. I'll come back.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I know that was a lot of setup, but that to me is, like, definitely my first positive coming out of that film. I love that scene so much.
Yeah.
I mean, what else?
I mean, all the mutants that we got to, like, really get to know. I thought Nightcrawler was excellent.
Fantastic.
So funny. Every scene he was cracked me up.
Yep.
I thought that was really good, obviously. Psylocke belongs in both my negatives and my positives. I love seeing Psylocke a lot. But I'll leave the rest for the negatives, because there's a lot of, like, what the fuck? But overall, also, I know this is going to sound really cheesy of me, but I am such a sucker for backstories in Egypt, specifically.
I didn't know that.
It's very specific. You know, like, I love the movie The Mummy just because it has those in every single episode.
We learned something new about Kaori
Every
today,
single
guys.
movie, every single The Mummy's like, okay, there's a backstory in Egypt. I'm like, I'm sold. Sold. 99 Rotten Tomatoes. But this backstory, I love the beginning. I was like, oh, this is so cool. You get to see, like, how Apocalypse came to be, how he got betrayed by his four horsemen. I really loved how they did that.
Pretty crazy, huh?
It's really crazy. It's really cheesy, but I really loved that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes. I know it's really weird.
I thought it was pretty well done. I like how the girl was kind of like, she would not give up on making the transformation happen. Like, even to her death, she was still chanting, you know?
Yeah.
So, and the fact that we see that he's just buried for thousands and thousands of years. I like the setup for Apocalypse. And then, like you said, we'll go into some negatives about that particular character, but I do like the beginning scene. I do like the setup. It got my heart racing as well. What else?
I mean, there's a lot.
I do obviously like the interaction between all of the characters kind of coming back together.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's her face?
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, I was going to say Raven has been out kind of doing her own thing. We meet Cyclops' brother, Scott. So we lose one, but we gain another kind of thing.
Well, Alex might still be alive. Just maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah. Havoc or whatever.
Yeah, because we didn't actually see him die. That's true. But I do like when they're back at the school with all the other mutants and that kind of thing. That was fun. I
thought Jubilee was going to be a little more useful.
Right.
That was another thing. Like, they made a big deal that some Asian was cast.
Oh, totally.
And we were like, okay, cool, you know? And then it's like, no lines.
But apparently there was this whole mall scene that had been cut out where I think we would have gotten a little bit more from her.
Probably.
But, I mean, that's also to say, like, there's other scenes when we talk about Psylocke that I heard were also cut from the film, which is why we didn't get a lot of her either. So, which is too bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were looking forward to Jubilee.
We'll get that. Yeah, Jubilee, right? And I will say another positive was they did just the right amount of Wolverine. Just the right amount. For me, I think it was funny that he was wild, he forgot his memories, and then, you know, Jean gave him just a little bit, and he ran off. It's like, thank God he's not going to continue to help them. Like, for me, that's a positive. You know, I think it was kind of interesting to watch him be that animal at his natural instinctive
Yeah.
phase and kick the shit out of everyone. Gory. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of bad, but it was kind of necessary because you got 3 kids that need some help. I think they worked that out perfectly to feel, to kind of like give him that cameo. For me, that worked out.
I think the only thing I would correct out of that scene is they didn't really even, for us, because we know X-Men.
Yeah.
You don't need to announce to us. Like, they basically gave it to us before we even saw Wolverine come out.
Yeah.
That he was coming out, and it was like, you could have just let him show himself without giving us the whole setup of,
But it was still exciting.
He has claws and blah blah blah, and I was like, okay.
I think it's because they wanted us to be like, oh my god, there's the claws again. Oh my god, like I don't know.
Sometimes the audience is smarter than you have to even like.
Yeah.
That's it. Minor negative, but gosh, there was something that was many of you may not agree with me, and you might not either, but I actually enjoyed Sophie Turner as Jean Grey.
Who I agree with you too.
Some people didn't, so I'm just
Really?
throwing it out there. Yeah, but I did like her as Jean Grey. I thought she did a good job. And I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to separate her because we just did our Game of Thrones review right now, by the way.
Oh, you totally separated her.
It was I was afraid we couldn't separate her from Sansa, and she did. She was able to portray Jean the way I would have thought she should be at that age, at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, positive for you too?
No, I completely agree. I was surprised by her, and I was a little worried that they kind of picked her for, Game of Thrones fame, and she pulled off Jean Grey really, really well, and I'm excited to see her in the next ones.
Oh yeah, I mean they set that character up so well.
So well.
She's gonna be badass.
She's gonna be badass, or maybe bad.
Did you like any of the did you like the last action scene when they were fighting Apocalypse?
Oh, and she came out?
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I was surprised that she pulled her phoenix so soon. I didn't expect that to happen in this movie, but it was cool, I guess.
It was kind of like neutral about it.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a better way of killing off or expelling Apocalypse.
Right.
But, we'll get to our negatives whenever
Sure.
we're ready.
Anything else in the positives?
I mean, overall good movie. Go see it.
Yeah, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna make a lot of money, by the way.
Yeah,
I think
it's already
has.
hit a lot.
Okay, so let's go into the negatives then.
Okay.
Corey, did you want to start?
Well, I mean, my 2 big negatives is it's called X-Men Apocalypse, but the worst part of the movie was Apocalypse. Like every time Apocalypse was in the show, in a scene, it kind of took me away from the movie. I know that sounds really weird, but it did. It just became kind of campy. Like, oh come on, guy! Like, Oscar Isaac is a phenomenal actor, but I'm
Yes.
sure he's like, do I have to say this line? Fuck it, I'm getting paid millions.
Oh, I know.
You know?
It was like, and it was so hard for him to act being under all that makeup and that heavy suit. Like, how much can you actually try
It's
to
so cheesy,
put
too.
emotion into the character when he was just covered from head to toe? And
I didn't like
speaking-
his outfit.
yeah, and even that. But speaking of cheesiness, like even when he comes out of resting or whatever, and he like puts his hand on the TV and is like, I'm learning. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like-
saying. Everything was like cheese.
What is happening? He's supposed to be this badass villain, and he would just seem. Yeah, I was highly disappointed by it. From the look, like you're saying, from just the look of him to just even the fact that Oscar Isaac wasn't even able to make him into a good character.
Yeah.
From the dialogue and everything that was going on.
I just felt like a lot of the things evolved around Apocalypse just didn't work for me. Like, I'm going to pick 4 horsemen. I'm going to pick the strongest mutants. Let's just pick the first 4 that they decide for me.
Thank you.
What?
He's like, okay, you're the first one I encounter. You seem cool. Okay, fine. Storm, come on. Like, this the Angel who, like...
Angel was the worst.
Why? I don't know. Sure,
He had like a broken wing. He was drinking and drunk. I mean...
So basically Apocalypse makes poor decisions.
Yeah, he made poor decisions. They all betray him except for Psylocke. But she was also kind of my negatives because Psylocke is a fan favorite and everyone was excited to see her. And she was underutilized. I have very mixed feelings about Olivia Munn as Psylocke because she looks the part, but To be honest, she's a great actress in that TV show, The Newsroom. But for someone who didn't have many lines, it was like nothing came out in her face that was like, that was solid. Like, she sucked at Psylocke. I'm sorry. And that might change. Maybe she needs more practice. And the other thing that bothers me, I'm sorry, guys. Psylocke, okay? She's British, right? So Olivia Munn specifically said Psylocke is not going to have a British accent because there's a lot of British accents in the movie, so I want to represent this side of the pond. There's a lot of American accents too, first of all. Second of all, you had 3 lines. If you can't say them in British accent, but Sansa Stark can say all her lines in an American accent, there's something fucked up. Just tell people you can't do it. It's fine.
Trying to be all high horse about it, like I'm just gonna make sure I represent American accents.
Yeah, but and now, see, look at me talking about her because this is bothering me. Now she's saying she wants to be in the next Deadpool 2 movie as Psylocke, but she was too good to be Deadpool's girlfriend.
Oh, shit. She would have ruined that role as Vanessa. I'm so happy she didn't.
Yeah, Miranda Baccarin was awesome.
Yes, thank you. And I think for those of you that follow me on Twitter, you already know my thoughts on Psylocke. I was highly disappointed by this character.
Yeah,
100%. I thought the choosing of her to be a 4 horseman was just ridiculous.
Thank you.
Oh, it was like, hey, okay, you sitting there, I'll take you. Fine.
She's much more of an X-Men.
There was just no reason behind why Apocalypse would choose her.
There was no reason why she decided to join other than her sword getting bigger.
Yeah. She was just a useless, very, very useless character. I mean, at least they tried to give us some setup with Angel and with Storm. We just didn't get it at all with her. And I think I had read a lot of you were tweeting me about it, that they cut a ton of her scenes, and that's probably why we didn't get that backstory. But I have to think they cut it because she's awful. Olivia Munn is just terrible. I'm sorry. She's really good in Newsroom, like you said.
She was really good in
Newsroom. But she's just not a good actress. And I think she needs some work. I think if you put her in that costume and just let her fight, she would be badass. Yeah, but the fact that she has to deliver lines and there's no emotion behind it, I just can't buy it.
There was no expression in her face. Like, it was just that costume. And even I didn't really like that Psylocke costume, to be honest with you. Like, why do they have to add, like... It just looked weird to me.
She stood out. Like, when you look at all 4 together with Apocalypse, she did not fit whatsoever in her aesthetics. Yeah. Everyone else had heavy, like, armory or whatever, and then here she is with... I mean, it is true to the comic, but it just did not fit well with the group.
I thought it was too warped from the comic. I would have wanted it to be a little more basic.
It really did look to me like Olivia Munn was just wearing cosplay costume. And and look, I apologize because I am very critical about this character because I do like the character very much. And I do absolutely love Olivia Munn, actually. I'm a very big fan of hers. Too. So that's probably why the disappointment is a little more for me, is because of the fact that I am a fan of hers and I'm a fan of the character, and they just did not do it justice whatsoever.
I completely agree with you, what she said. Like, it's not like I hate the woman. It's not that at all. It's just that we wanted more from that. We were excited about that expectation, and it just didn't add up.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's still alive. She kind of sneaks around.
I was going to say, she makes that really awkward exit as well.
It's like,
so she was just like, okay. That was so weird. So obviously we're going to see her in the next film.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my big negative. Was Psylocke's character. Angel he is not the most badass mutant ever. They didn't show that. He was drinking, and that didn't work. Apocalypse didn't work. Yeah. So all the baddies were just like, what? Like, I know. I think X-Men saved it, literally. I think that was all in my negatives, though. But
I wasn't too big of a fan of the end battles. You know, the mind battle between Professor X and Apocalypse, and
that's like everything.
The actual physical battle between Apocalypse and Magneto.
Yeah, because it's Apocalypse. He kind of
I think you're right. It just, they didn't set the foundation correct for that villain. So then the whole time I was like, this is so bad, so cheesy.
Even Magneto's outfit looked cheesy. for me.
There was something really interesting. I don't know if you noticed it, but in their costuming for this particular film, they decided to use what it looked like the same material across the board for each character in just a different manner. And so I think it didn't read well for me. While it looks okay, I think it didn't read well because it looked like everyone was just in cosplay.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was Olivia Munn was saying that her Psylocke outfit, you could see her skin, but it's just a giant onesie.
Oh gosh, that must have been uncomfortable too.
Yeah, I think that's why it didn't look right for me. It just looked weird. I like the basic comic looking Psylocke, you know.
Right. I think one more negative for me would have been Jennifer Lawrence. I think she has just completely checked out of being an X-Men. There's just, speaking of no emotion, I just feel like she's just delivering the lines and really not.
Yeah.
There's no emotion there anymore. Whereas maybe in the first film, she was a little more invested in trying to make the character right. But here, she's just like, let's fight. You know, like very monotone, very.
It does kind of fit the Raven / Mystique personality though, because Mystique is kind of checked out too for a little bit.
That's true.
You know,
she's like, I'm over it.
But I wasn't too appreciative of suddenly Mystique being the war hero and the fan that everyone looks up to. Since when was she the only X-Men that everyone was like, holy crap, you're the one, you're the poster child?
Right.
That bothered me.
Right.
It felt like it was because they wanted to put more Jennifer Lawrence emphasis.
That's part of it. That's 100% part of it.
Boo.
So that goes along with the deal of having Jennifer Lawrence in your film, is that she's got to be a main character. She's got to have kind of the Daenerys moments of X-Men.
Yeah, the Daenerys.
Anything else?
I think that's about it. But go see it. We love it.
Yeah, definitely. If you've gone to go see it, if that even makes sense, if that's English. If you've gone to the theater to see it this weekend, definitely let us know your thoughts on the film. Leave us a comment. Tweet us as well at Team Amasian and let us know what you think of X-Men Apocalypse. Your positives, your negatives. We love to hear it. Yeah, I think that'll do it until there's another movie that we can review just like this too. So until then, you guys, you can follow both of us at Team Amasian. Make sure you thumbs up this video, share it, leave us a comment, subscribe to our channel, all that good stuff. Tell a friend today, as Kaori says, because it will keep us going. And Kaori, where can people follow you?
You can follow me, KAORIOUS, on all social media channels.
Nice of you to point that out, because you can follow me at Ann Campia on most social media channels, with the exception of Snapchat, where you can follow me at acampia. And again, make sure to follow us at Team Amasian. Go to teamamasian.com. We still have prints for sale as well. And we will be back with another Speak Nerdy to Me next week. And until then, you guys, bye.